Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is Mellow7 Gaming, and this is kind of our State of the Union speech, so to speak. I think it's traditional for a channel to kind of give one of these at the end or the beginning of the year to kind of see how things are going and what you plan to go forward. And I've been relatively lucky recently to kind of have both of my part-time jobs, so to speak, do better. This is one of those part-time jobs. Between this and a little bit of Twitch streaming, I spend a fair amount of time working on the YouTube. But the other is that I'm a part-time teacher. I teach welding at a local community college, and my ambition is to be a full-time welding instructor. That's the goal. YouTube is the fun, it's the downtime, it's the filler when there's not a lot of hours at work. It's that. And I've been doing it for almost exactly 3 years at this point, I think. And I've had ups and downs. I've been monetized and demonetized 3 separate occasions, thanks to bigger names that think suicide forests are funny and such. And of course, the way to punish that person is to demonetize small channels. That's how YouTube works. And after that last demonetization, the channel really kind of flatlined. I sat kind of around 300 subscribers pretty much that whole time. I was getting about 1 a day for a short period there, and then nothing. If you're not monetized, it's much harder to get your videos in front of eyeballs, right? Because if YouTube is going to suggest a video for you, it will probably be a video they're going to get paid for rather than one that just costs them money. And I don't have an argument against that. I don't have a complaint against that. It's a business. My complaint is that it feels like I was punished for something somebody else did. But you know what? Business is business. You adapt and overcome, right? That's the plan. So I've been continuing to work on it, but I'll be honest with you guys, I was this close to calling it quits. I was so frustrated. The initial success I got on Twitch was amazing, was spectacular, was great. I got my minimum number of followers very quickly. The community for BattleTech and for MechWarrior on Twitch is amazing. The other streamers are spectacular. I felt like part of the crowd right away, and I got to a point where I was making money right away. And YouTube, meanwhile, was continuing this slow slide into oblivion for me. And I was frustrated. And then MechWarrior came along. And we've been waiting a long time for MechWarrior. Not just me, but a lot of you as well. And MechWarrior videos, the MechWarrior beta videos especially, kickstarted this channel like I never would have believed possible. I didn't go super viral and have 8 billion views and be making money like overnight. That didn't happen. But I did get to a point where my videos were being suggested, where people were actually seeing my videos, and I was getting to a point where I was getting subscribers again. And you can see right here, last 28 days, I've gotten 6,654 views, as opposed to my standard, which is about 1,000, right? Somewhere in there, 900 to 1,000 views is pretty normal for me. So 6 times. After sitting at around just over 300 views for a while, in fact, we could probably take a look at it here. Let us go to see more. They've changed a lot of this around recently. We're not looking for that video. I, in fact, thought I was clicking on subscribers, right? I mean, that's what I clicked on. There we go. Now let's try this, and there we go. Even though I think we did things in the same order, it didn't quite work. Let's go ahead and take a look at, instead of the last 28 days, let's take a look at the last year. Last 365 days. So how has this year gone? And you can see that while I had a couple little spikes of subscribers, we got a subscriber there, we got a subscriber there, we got a couple subscribers there, and then kind of nothing. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't look like a huge amount here, honestly. And I'm not quite sure why. But let's take a look down here. In the last year, we've got 165 subscribers. Now, not all of these are tracked. Not all of these come from a video. If you watch a video and you click follow on that video, it'll show up here. So 10 people clicked follow on Range Bands Part 2, right? That's what we know. 9 people clicked follow on my Kaiserslautern video. I love Football Manager, by the way. We haven't seen much of it recently, but that may change. I do own it. I do own 2020, or Football Manager. Football Manager 2020. You can see there. But let's go ahead we know 165 in the last 365 days. Let's look at the last 90 days. 116 of those came in the last 90 days. So 50 came in the first 9 months of the year. And the rest of it's coming here. So, and then if we take a look at, say, the last, well, here, let's take a look. November, I got 5 subscribers. And they came towards the end. December, 59 subscribers. Pretty significant jump for us. And January so far this year, 51 subscribers, and it's the afternoon of the 14th right now. So you can see that we've essentially almost added 50% of our viewers in the last few months, realistically, right? From low 300s, 320 something maybe, to, can we go back to, see, we can just go back a page. Not really. We got to go all the way back, but that's fine. That's 59 subscribers in the last 28 days alone, up to 432. So let's say we've added 100 subscribers. That's almost 30% of the overall channel in the last 2 months, right? And it's just amazing. It reinvigorated kind of my joy of the editing, and I hope that shows up. I'm doing a lot more editing now than I used to with the music, trying to make things a little tighter in their videos, and that may have something to do with it. But in this case, which came first, the chicken or the egg? In this case, your guys' interest came first. Your interest in what I was doing is what got the rest of it going, and hopefully that continues on, and we make the better videos, and you guys enjoy them, and we continue on going forward. So that's state of the channel. At the beginning of the year, seeing the first hints of this, seeing the little bit in November, the little bit of December, my goal for the channel was 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which coincidentally would get me monetized for the 4th time, assuming they don't move the benchmark yet again. It is what it is. If they do that, then we'll see where it goes to. But at the moment, I kind of think it's doable, he says confidently. I mean, if we can keep up 2 subscribers a day, then it's doable. I mean, that's it. I've got almost the entire, there's 365. That's an extra, that's 700 subscribers during the year. If we would have started at 300, we'd be there. I think we're doing fine. And the nice thing is that as you get bigger, as these numbers grow, the videos are more likely to be put in front of more eyeballs, and we're more likely to get somebody to follow through. So this is one of those growth patterns that start small, but once you get it rolling, it does okay. And maybe now's the time to do it. If you're interested in YouTube, don't expect it to happen fast, especially with the new, the realities of monetization, the realities of 1,000 subs. You're going to work on it. 3 years, which is what I've been doing, maybe 4 years by the time I get monetized once again, is probably not rare. To be honest, I think that's probably a legitimate guess as to what it takes most people to get to a point where they're making money from YouTube. Not necessarily a lot of money, but something. And so I would say plan on that if that's your dream, if that's what you're looking at. Now, the other thing is I've put out almost 1,000 videos up to this point. I want to say TubeBuddy said I was at like 978 or something like that last time I looked. So we're closing in on 1,000 videos. So we're looking at a video a day for 3 years at this point to get where we are, by the way, for people that are wondering about kind of what it takes long term. You don't need to do a video every day. Probably 3 to 4 videos a week is probably necessary. It's probably all that's necessary. Let's put it that way. So yeah, so the channel's doing great. That's the bonus. Thank you guys. It is all about you guys. It's your comments, it's your likes, it's your suggestions for the experiments. It's your tips in the game. These are the things that get the videos noticed. These are the things that get the videos in front of other people. So thank you. The other thing I'll point out while I'm here, because you hear it all the time, you see at the beginning of the channel, most of my viewers are not subscribed. Please hit subscribe. It helps the channel, yada, yada, yada. If we can find it, let's check views. I'm trying to remember where it is. somewhere in here it tells you what percentage of my viewers are subscribed. Real time. I know it's in here somewhere. I've seen it. It's essentially a demographic type of, I have to back out here. Audience. Maybe it's under audience. Watch time from subscribers. If it's watch time from subscribers, shouldn't they all be subscribed? Okay. Regardless, this has changed dramatically over these last few months. When I looked at this in November, can we look at just this number? No. I want to say this was something like 90% not subscribed. And now you can see 25% of my views and potentially another 16.9 due to where they're watching from are subscribed. But even 25% is great. If I had like a 50% subscription demographic, I might be like the top on the planet because most people are not subscribed. So for those of you that are subscribed, clearly you're watching stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's amazing. Now we just need to get more eyeballs in front of it. I may be the only person on YouTube complaining that I don't have enough unsubscribed people watching because that means that the people I'm getting these views from people that already know about me. I'm not getting views from new people as much. Is what it is. My demographic is very narrow. That bothers me a little bit. I think that has more to do with my choice of games, hopefully, than me. But you can see that we've got an extra little thing there kicking up. 100% of my views are from men in the last 28 days. That's not quite 100%. I know there's been a few women in there, but from a percentage standpoint, overwhelmingly male and overwhelmingly kind of my age, right? 25 to 55. And this has jumped up as well. When I checked this in November, it was pretty much right here. So we've attracted a slightly older audience in the past with MechWarrior, which probably isn't a surprise. I mean, if you think about it, the main MechWarrior demographic is appealing to people that played these games 20 years ago. So instead of looking at kind of the under 45 guys, we're looking at the over 45 guys like myself that are playing this game that have been brought back to it. So that's not a huge surprise, I guess. But you can see 25 to 55 male, 35% American. That's not really that out of whack. I know I get viewers from other countries. Mein Deutsch ist sehr schlecht, but thank you. I lived in Germany. I've lived in Australia. I've lived around the world. I love to see people from other places here and commenting and in it. I get less of it on this than I did in Football Manager, obviously, while playing teams from around the world. But that's the demographic for those of you that are interested. And I think that's all I want to say about the YouTube channel for the moment. I've been talking for too long. The other thing I would like to talk about is the teaching. And this may impact the YouTube short term. It may impact the YouTube long term. I don't know. One of the teachers at work, not named Shorty, put in his resignation. Shorty's excited about this news. Put in his resignation yesterday morning. And the semester starts on Tuesday. So about a week's notice. It looks like I'll maybe taking over some of his classes, maybe as much as 3. These are classes I haven't taught, except substitute teacher here and there. And 2 of those classes are actually from a different department than welding. They're related, but it means that a lot of my free time is going to disappear because I need to make sure I'm ready for lectures. I've got to get lesson plans put together. I've got to make sure I know what I'm talking about. And if I don't, I need to have time to figure that out. For those things that I know there's no way for me to get up to speed on, I need to make sure I have people that are up to speed on it, whether they be other teachers, people at the school, people from industry that I can bring in as guest speakers and make sure we get topics covered that need to get covered. But it means that I'm going to lose a lot of free time. I'm going from I had almost 6 weeks off between semesters from when my final was given to when the semester starts. And obviously some of that time is spent getting ready for my normal classes. But when you teach the same classes every semester, it's, kind of, you just do it again. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden it means I may be a full-time teacher for the year. There's a few ways they can do that. that may lead into being a full-time teacher, period. Fingers crossed. I don't know, but it will impact time I have here doing videos. So expect fewer days where there's 2 videos a day, Monday through Saturday. Right now I'm producing probably 6 campaign videos and 3 to 4 additional Mech Warrior related videos. And then some first looks on the weekend or Sunday, which may be 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes, something I sit down and record in one run and just break up. I would expect videos to be down to probably 5 videos a week, maybe, or maybe 5 campaign videos plus 1 or 2 small videos. Additionally, we'll just have to see how it goes. But I would expect videos to drop down a little bit. So I apologize for that. I just don't really see a way to serve both my students and my YouTube audience equally going forward with the additional requirements of the school for the moment. Now, once I get that initial work done, once I have those lesson plans built, once students are comfortable in the labs and the assignments and they can more or less be set free, I'll begin to get more time back. I'll be able to spend time in classes, working on classes rather than strictly just helping students. That's the thing about lab-based classes. It's not a lecture class where you blah, 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 and they leave and they do their homework and they show up and the computer grades didn't do anything. The majority of my classes, welding and manufacturing technology, which is what I'm going to be teaching in, these are lab classes that require kind of constant, I don't want to say hand-holding. They require constant attention from a teacher. They don't have time to go sit down. It's not like they just go off and do their thing while you work on your lesson plan for the next class. There's safety concerns, obviously, there with people using heavy equipment, welders, bandsaws, power tools of all sorts. But also, you need to make sure people are on the right track, because if they get frustrated, you lose them forever, right? So the long story short is both jobs are doing really well right now, but YouTube's probably going to have to take a hit in time, at least short term, while I get up to speed for my classes. And we'll see how that goes. Classes start next week. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be teaching yet. The school isn't 100% sure what I'm teaching yet. We've begun meetings on that, but things obviously have to happen quickly if I have to start teaching on Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes. It's all good news, pretty much across the board, except that you guys can get slightly less videos. So keep the ideas coming, though. I love to see them. I like to see the test things. They're the easiest, fastest, funnest things to make. I have not beat a campaign on my computer yet. I've beat it on about 2 or at least 2 other people's channels where I've played the majority of a campaign on theirs. And then another friend of mine, I did the very end of his. In fact, we went through and we wiped out all of the last story high value quests in the galaxy for him. So I've been to the end a bunch. So the campaign, it's fun, but there's no, it's not the excitement of a new experience at this point. Whereas our AI experiments are completely new and probably not long for this world once people figure out the mods and they can actually dig into the guts and see what the AI is actually doing. It's more fun our way. But we'll see. Somebody asked me in the comments why do this. I could just ask. Where's the fun in that, right? Let's figure it out for ourselves. Plus, even though Russ has been very nice to me over the years, I have met him personally. He installed MechWarrior Online on my Surface Pro way back when on the first NGNG Con after the launch tournament. I don't think he makes time in his day to answer my questions. I really don't. Maybe if we were to go through NGNG, we get better answers, although their contract just ended as well with PGI. So anyway, end of the year wrap up last year kind of stunk a little bit, but it kicked off. It ended just fine. Ended with a boom. This year is spectacular. Teaching is great. YouTube is great. Everything's great. Thank you guys for watching. Couldn't do it without you. I mean, legitimately, right? I was ready to give up without you. Now you're here. So we'll keep this thing going as long as you guys are willing to watch. And I will see you next time. As always, thumbs up, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe. Love to hear your comments. Love to see what you guys think. If there's questions about this stuff, if there's any of you that are interested in YouTube or just interested in numbers, I'm not a huge channel, but none of this stuff is secret. If you have questions about it, ask. Happy to go through it, and we'll take things from there. All right, we'll see ya. Cheers.